Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Life channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how I'm planning to beat this fuel crisis. Now, this has been something that now isn't, or now looking like it's not going to go away anytime soon. My local petrol station diesels hit £2 a litre. So I'm going to talk you through the steps I've taken to beat this, or the steps I took to help early on, and what you guys can do as well. So let's get straight into it. So first thing I did actually was buy another car, which is a little bit odd, but hear me out. So for those of you who don't know, this is my 2003 Smart Fortwo Roadster. Now these are fitted with a 0.7 litre engine. They're pretty infamous as a smart car. Everybody knows what a smart car is. They're pretty Marmite as well. Some people love them, some people hate them. However, I bought this for just over £1,000. I taxed, insured it, got it up to scratch for less than £1,600, and as you can see, it sits here today. Now, the reason I bought this is because these can do between 65 and 70 mpg with its 0.7 litre engine, but this car in particular is special. It is fitted with an LPG system. Now initially it didn't work when I bought it, but I managed to fix it for 30 quid. So now it cost me 80 pence per litre to fill it up. I've got the choice of both petrol and LPG, so I've got a 15 litre petrol tank, which costs about £25 to fill up with current prices. And then I've also got an LPG tank, 15 litres, which costs around £13 to fill up. So for about 35 quid overall, because that seems to be the most I've managed to put in it, we've got 300 plus miles, 350 miles range, which is fantastic. So like I said, I saw the fuel crisis looming, and I was toying with the idea anyway of getting something a little bit more economical. Mrs. DL obviously has the Jeep there that does 20 to the gallon. That's not sustainable really, is it, with the way things were going? And this was when it was 160 a litre. I didn't really like it, and I worked out actually if we could swap the miles we were doing in the Jeep for the miles we were doing in this would pay for itself in 3 months, and then obviously start to be saving us money. So that's what we did. What's now happened is that I'm doing more miles than I've ever done. So I'm driving this most days to work. Mrs. DL's driving the Volvo, so whereas I was getting 40 to the gallon, I'm now getting 70. And whereas Mrs. DL was getting 20 to the gallon, she's now getting 45. So it's quite easy to see the savings there. But I wouldn't try this at home. You never know what you might get. We got quite lucky in the fact that we got a fairly good car. Don't mind the stain on my hand. That's rust paint. It's not blood, from a project we've been doing on the Sprinter over there. But there are a few things that you guys can do to really help your fuel economy and change the way that you do things to help you through this fuel crisis, because the government seems to be helping. The petrol stations certainly aren't helping. The car manufacturers are just telling you to buy an electric car, but who's got £500-600 a month to just blow on an electric car when all your bills are going up anyway? So let's discuss a few things that we can do to save fuel. Now, obviously the biggest one is reduce your mileage. We have started sort of walking into town now, walking to the shops, little probably less a mile round trip, but that just uses a little bit of fuel each time, and because the cars never get hot, then they never run at its most efficient. So the smart car will probably achieve 30 miles per gallon for that 1 mile trip, if that makes sense, which just seems silly. So if you're doing that and that's all the journeys that you do, you're really losing a lot on your potential savings. Now, another thing is checking your tyre pressures. Now, tyres are obviously your only contact on the road. They're responsible for resistance, the resistance that pushes against your car going forward. Obviously you've got air resistance, etc., but if you have flat tyres, it's like trying to run through a swimming pool. You've got far more resistance car has to work harder. So keep your tyres inflated. You can inflate them to the max pressure stated by the manufacturer. A lot of manufacturers offer sort of an eco pressure, or sort of a heavy loaded pressure. Now I wouldn't advise going over that at all. You can do it, and you can do it, a lot of people do it, but for the purposes of this video, I don't encourage that, if you know what I mean. So tyre pressure is a huge one. Another one is air conditioning. It's getting hot. These evenings are beautiful. We've got a lovely sunset here, but air conditioning destroys fuel economy. I've never seen it so much on a car as when I saw it on the smart car. 0.7 litre engine, turn the air conditioning on, and the revs drop by about 500 RPM. It takes a massive chunk out, and you lose a considerable amount of power, because what you're doing is that engine has to drive that AC unit. The Volvo literally has a belt off of the sort of the camshaft area, and that drives it. So you're taking energy and putting more resistance on that engine, which obviously uses more fuel. Now, third tip, this is tip number 4, is actually just slow down. Did you know that you use sort of 30-40% more fuel travelling at 80 over 70 on the motorway, or it's even more, sort of 50 to 60% more fuel if you travel 60 instead of 50 on A roads. Now, you don't get to your destination much quicker at all. You have to drive 100 miles to sort of see any real difference. So on your morning commute to work, I worked out that if I did 10% less than the speed limit, so 54 miles an hour and a 60, I would get to my sort of destination 2 minutes later, but I would save 40% of my fuel. Now that just makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, in my book? Anyway, so a few little tips like that can really help. Another one is making sure that your car's fully maintained, making sure that spark plugs, if you've got a petrol, are up to scratch, making sure that your oil's been changed recently. And I understand you have to spend money to make that happen, and it might not be possible, but as long as you've got a couple of these things going, it's definitely an option. Another thing you can do to spread costs is pay your tax on your car monthly. You think you pay an extra £2, but actually, if it's saving you a chunk of money in the short term, then that's easier to spread that cost over the sort of 12 or 6 months that you sort of do it over. Now, we've also bought the van, as you can see here, and this has a 75 litre fuel tank. It's going to cost me nearly £150 to fill up. Now, actually, this van is very good on fuel for a van. It does 40 plus miles per gallon I've had out of it. It's probably not the ideal way of dealing with a fuel crisis, but what it does do is it gives us an option if, for example, we need to sort of make money and rent the house out or something silly like that. We can stay in that quite comfortably when it's finished. So it just gives us options, and that's what this is all about, is giving yourself options. If you've got colleagues that live nearby, or friends that go the same way, just share lifts. I know a big thing I say about in this channel is sort of the benefits of driving for your mental health and having that sort of quiet time to and from work, but stress is far worse. Financial stress is far worse for you than not having that quiet time. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, let me know how you guys are getting on. We're all in this together, and yeah, share your tips below as well, because I think it's good if we all help each other out to get through this. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for plenty more videos to come. That's how I'm going to beat the fuel crisis. So yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next one. Cheers.